So you'll find yourselves outside the watch house in the Square of Heroes. It's kind of it's still a chilly day, as it has been, but the clouds are clearing today. It seems it's cold. It's early in the first month of the year, but the wind chill is definitely still there. But there's a signs of a brightening blue sky on the horizon, and the sun is putting in an appearance.
I think now that we're back in civilization, Booga's probably ditched the makeshift blanket cape, because that's going to stand out a little bit. So he's back to being tense and is looking to the sky and the sun coming through the clouds or what have you. And yeah, you can see gritted teeth. Whoa, another bracing day for us to go out and roam the town. It's a shame we couldn't really get more from the captain of the guard there, but what do you think we should do? Should we try and press on and spread word of what might happen, or I'm not sure what action to take.
Yeah, I wonder if we should go to the opera house and see if anyone knows anything about I don't know whether she's the imposter has been to the opera house or anything.
Sounds good. Yes, this are we sorry, just out of the moment, have we got the girl with us, or is she back in the guardhouse still? I think she's in the guardhouse, isn't she?
I'm pretty sure she's with you, but we can go either way on that if you want.
Because if she's with us, then that's a factor of we can take her to the opera house, and that's an immediate trigger for things to happen. Because if she's a known quantity at that place, but she's not been there yet, then we can start having some conversations.
She is with you, let's say, but if you want her not to be with you, you can take her and put her in a hotel room, or you can tell her, hey, hang out here, or whatever. It's totally up to you. But I in my head I was like, she was with you in the watch house, and then when you all left, she came with you.
Mm-hmm.
We can ice her.
On that basis, then I think we take her to the opera house and start asking questions. Use her as the kind of the trigger for that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if that sounds good, then I guess we'll make our way there.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Making our way to the opera house. Walking fast.
Yeah.
It's faces pass.
Mm-hmm.
You homebound?
Not yet.
Opera house.
Any chance we stop by a coat stand or something on the way? For
you 100%
Booga?
can. At any point, if you want to do anything anything like that, you can. It's not the game isn't a corridor, especially now you're in.
Sort looks at Booga. She's like, "You maybe you could get like a fancy scarf or something, and it would fit with the rest of your outfit, but you'd be a little warmer or something."
Oh, well, I shouldn't think we should make a big detour for that, but yes, if there's somewhere on the way, I wouldn't argue with it.
I mean, the thing about it being on the way is that it's a straight line walk across an empty open space to get to the opera house. You can see it from here. So...
Oh, look, a shop.
Never know.
Shopping montage.
Funnily enough, there is a fancy department store just a couple of doors down from the watch house. If you wanted to go there.
No, I think Booga can, pride being what it is. He's gonna stay tense. No, I'll. On second thoughts, it will help me to work on my constitution.
Yes. Qiric is not sold, but he's not going to push you.
I think you've previously, you've seen through Booga's blustering about coldness before on previous occasions, and there seems to be more of the same, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right, well, leaving the watch house and the department store behind you, I guess, then. You walk across the Square of Heroes, which is it's fairly it's fairly well populated most of the time. Really, this is a real kind of central landmark in Valliné. A lot of the sort of important's the wrong word, but a lot of sort of attraction buildings are around here. The Opera House, I've previously mentioned the Explorers Guilds here. You know, it's a sort of central meeting place for a lot of people. So there are a fair number of people just kind of meandering. Some of them are sort of seem to be on more important errands than that. But even at this sort of fairly early, you know, sort of mid-morning time, it's you know, it's fairly busy here as you make your way across. Not to the point where you're not pushing through crowds or anything. There's just quite a lot of people wandering around between there's rows of statues depicting sort of heroes of the land, and there's not in your path, but like off to one side, kind of in the center of the square, is a rather large sort of fountain, sort of part fountain, part giant sculpture sort of thing, which does appear to have frozen over.
As we're passing through the crowd, I think Booga's making a point of looking at people's faces and trying to see if anybody's eyes head towards our travelling companion.
Okay. I guess, can I just get a perception check from you?
16.
16, okay. People kind of glance in your direction, but like not in like you're not like drawing attention to yourselves, really. And there's nobody who's looking at her kind of in particular. Whenever you're sort of in civilization, there's a lot of people kind of, you know, wandering around, especially but there's some people kind of just seem to be kind of casually walking. There's a little bit of people watching going on, so you know, it's not like people aren't looking at you, but you're not like under intense scrutiny at all, not that you can see anyway.
Okay. Well, unless anybody wants to stop, then let's head on in up to the doors of the Opera House and see, is it open? Is there anybody outside?
The doors at the front of the Opera House appear to be closed. It's, you know, sort of fairly early in the morning. You make your way up a set of marble stairs to get up to this sort of... It's quite an imposing sort of front of the building. I'd say there's a lot of carved pillars, and it all kind of seems to be quite clean, sort of polished marble surfaces on everything. There's kind of gargoyles on the roof, everything. It's quite a sort of... It's quite a grand building, is what I'm saying. There's several sets of kind of double doors next to each other. You know the type, like at theatre entrances, so they can kind of let large groups, large crowds out at any one time. All of them appear to be closed at the moment. You do notice, though, as you come up, there's posters up in sort of frames on either side that have been added to saying opens tonight, and it's quite a sort of dramatic painted scene of a huge kind of red evil-looking figure standing over a group of heroes, and the title of the title under it says "The Downfall of the Demon," and as I say, it says opens tonight. Mirri's
gonna look and see if there's like any. I guess she's kind of gonna look for a stage door.
Okay.
Sort of side entrance.
Sure. Can I get an investigation check for you?
Yeah. Okay. 5.
5? Okay.
It's a building.
You're having a bit of trouble finding the side of the building. the first side that you try, it doesn't. There's an alleyway that doesn't seem to go anywhere other than like a couple of like large waste containers, and you know it's not. You guess this isn't the stage entrance, and then you find yourself a little bit turned around all of a sudden, and you're like, well, if it's not here, where could it be? Yeah, so it's possible the entranceway isn't accessible from sort of this side of the frontage at all.
Okay, Mirri's gonna go straight up to doors then.
Sure.
And see if one was open. She's going to very annoyingly try every single door.
Okay. I'm picturing just starting on one side, just rattling it, and yeah, it's closed. And then you move on to the next one, and you're rattling it, and it's closed. And you make it about 2/3 of the way along these sort of sets of doors, and you see there's some glass in them, so you know you sort of see into it, and you, as I say, make it about 2/3 of the way along, and there is a dwarf is rushing towards the other side of the doors, and he knocks back at you from the other side. You just hear sort of muffled through the glass, "What do you want?"
Oh, we have questions about I guess tonight's performance.
Tonight it's all sold out tonight.
We actually have the star. We have to talk. Is there like a manager we can talk to or something? Mirri is full on shouting through the glass.
Yeah. I'm picturing, like, he's not opened the door at all. You're both just basically up against the glass, just yelling at each other. Yeah. He yells back, "I'm the manager."
Oh, well, we have some concerns about tonight's performance because the star of the show we guess got
perhaps we should not scream this in public.
Oh.
You open the door.
Oh yeah.
Make a persuasion check, I guess.
Booga's going to be looking around to see if anybody's been eavesdropping.
Okay. I guess can I get a perception check from you as well then?
Eavesdropping. We've literally screaming this into the square.
All right, that's a 15 for my perception.
Okay.
Yeah. Or persuasion.
And a natural 20.
Great.
Okay. You don't see any, but you're definitely drawing some stares, but nobody is like... Yeah, I mean, it's tough to tell if people are eavesdropping or not, or just the fact that, like, Mirri's just yelling, so people can, people, like, from quite some distance away just kind of looking. In response, though, to you go, can you open the door? The manager kind of rolls his eyes and sort of pulls a set of keys from his belt and unlocks the door. He holds onto the handle and he sort of peeks around and goes, right, what is it?
Oh yeah, hi. This is so much nicer. We have some concerns, and I will gesture towards. I'm assuming that we brought Mirri Ann with us. I'm sorry, we just went over this, but
yes, we did.
Okay. I'm assuming she like sort of walked up to the door, and I like gesture towards her.
Yeah, she's just kind of looking a little bit sort of overwhelmed a little bit, but she sort of leans around Booga and just sort of waves this. Hello there, Mr. Horace. He just sort of looks and he goes, miss, we weren't expecting you tonight till the performance. This isn't your usual manager. Please come in out of the cold. Beckons you all inside.
Ray will dart inside just to case the place before we actually let Mirri Ann in.
Okay. Yeah, it's quite a grand sort of entrance hall. It's not been fully lit up. There's a chandelier, pretty huge one, kind of hanging above the room, which hasn't been lit at this point in the day because it's the morning and there's no patrons expected yet. So there's just a couple of sort of low burning candles in here, so it's not completely dark, but it's definitely like light enough that you can sort of see around but not give away the impression that the place is open to anybody who's happening to go past. Horace seems to be the only person you see here in this entranceway, though.
Okay, as we're being led in, then Booga's going to respond and say, we're not actually this girl's management. We found her on the road, very much worse for wear. She'd been assaulted, and, well, you may want to sit down for this. There's news of, people trying to infiltrate your troop.
Sorry, I love that you didn't give him a chance to sit down. Infiltrated? What do you mean infiltrated?
I would like to roll an insight as we give him this news.
Yeah, go for it.
That is a 13.
13. It's tough to read a little bit, but you're not picking up any sort of immediate signs of, like... He doesn't look like he knew about it. He's more looking confused at what you're saying. So I think, which is kind of, sort of what you'd expect from somebody who didn't know about it.
Which Mirri is utterly baffled at, because everybody should be worried about this thing, obviously. Clearly. So worrying.
But so what do you mean infiltrated?
Oh, well, okay, so this is Mirri Ann.
Yes, I know, we've known each other for years.
Yeah. Well, we found her carriage had been attacked on the road, and we saved her, and we had to fight some big little tree goblin-y thing, and it was mean. Anyway, and then we found out that someone had killed her manager, and someone is trying to impersonate her, and we are worried that because it's the king is, I guess, gonna come see this. So
so we're expecting His Majesty tonight. We got the royal box all prepared, everything. You say Rickard was killed, was he? Yes, I'm afraid so. Along with our driver and our guard, and one of them, her face it changed to become like mine, and then I was rescued by these fine folks.
Mirri puffs out her chest a little bit.
Oh, it's a little bit of pride. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
This is very worrying. I mean, and you think they're coming here still?
Well, we don't have any reason to believe they wouldn't. Why steal her face in particular?
That is true. I mean, this is my only, the only place I was known to be going. Mr. Horace, you haven't seen... Well, you haven't seen me at all, have you? The last day or so? He shakes his head. Well, we're used to how things, how you usually operate, miss. Weren't expecting you to tonight. What do you think we should do? I mean, we can't cancel the performance. We'd be ruined.
I don't think you should cancel because something knows that we know that something's up. Right now, we think that maybe they don't know that we know that they know that we know that they know that we know.
Now I know. Oh, he puts his head in his hands.
Well, it shouldn't really go any further than us, I don't think. But in terms of what to do, well, we're ahead of the game. If they don't know that we know what they know, then we could lay a trap.
Because we know. Yeah.
That they know.
Right.
But they don't know that we know that they know.
This is all very complicated. What do you want me to do? I can't have any trouble with the king coming, and we can't cancel the performance either. The amount of money we've invested in sets alone for tonight's performance is... He seems he's still got his head in his hands, and he's sat down on one of the steps that sort of leads up to the... There's like two sweeping staircases that go up from the ground floor, and he's just sat down on one of them, and he's got his head in his hands.
What kind of species is he?
He's a dwarf.
Okay. Is the crew here? Are they preparing? I guess we could go talk to them, and we don't want to tell them that we know anything because we don't want them to know that we know. But we could pretend to be her manager, and I don't know. She just got a new manager or something, or Rickard is out of feeling under the weather.
Some of the stage crew are here. The orchestra's having a morning rehearsal. Not expecting the other singers in till early afternoon, and the dancers in shortly after. He's sort of trying to snap himself back into kind of management mode. I mean, I can show you around, and you said you wanted to set a trap. What kind of trap were you thinking?
So if we pretend to be her or her managers, maybe if she wants to, I don't know, see the setup, you could give us a little tour and she could see.
And Marianne sort of says, "Yes, Mr. Horace, it's the chorus. They already think I am. How did they put it? High-strung by not arriving till the day of the performance. Perhaps this is perfect cover. My mind is here to check out and see if everything is to my satisfaction." Sort of nods. Yeah. I mean, oh no, nobody thinks wrong of it. He sort of realizes what he's agreeing to. So, yeah. Oh no, nobody thinks any the less of you, man. Oh, you're a star. Yeah, some accommodations got to be made, of course. So, but yes, I mean that could be a good cover. And what about yourself? We could hide you in my office for now if you want. If you wanted to stay hidden, or she looks at the three of you. Whatever they think is best.
Well, what if she came with us and then we could look for reactions among the people when they see her? Because, if there was anyone that knew that she was supposed to be with other people, they would be really surprised if they saw her with us, and we might be able to see that.
Yes, it's unlikely that whoever's running this scheme is working alone, and if we, speak to the crew and check to see if they have reactions. And he's scratching his chin, thinking over the potentials here. Is there anybody who has been acting out of the ordinary recently? Anybody that's got a routine that they've been breaking or acting strangely?
Everybody here's they've all got their own little rituals and quite a superstitious bunch. These musical lot. But I think you'll find everybody here's a little bit eccentric.
Have you had any new recent hires or anything? New people?
Well, I mean, it's quite usual for us to lose a member or two and gain a new member of the chorus every season as people's careers and that. There's a big company, and then double that for some of the stage crew. All of my principals though have all been here for years though, so no changes from them as far as I can tell.
Well, let's start canvassing these people, and at the same time you can show us the entrances and exits to this place, so we've got some idea of where people might be coming and going from.
Right. Well, yeah. So let's get out of the foyer and follow me. He sort of stands up and leads the way through one of the kind of main entrance doors into what is soon confirmed to be the sort of main auditorium space of the Opera House. You find yourselves at the top of a set of steps going down to form one of the aisles of the sort of stalls area of the Opera House auditorium, and it really is in here like the grandest concert space that any of you have ever found yourselves in. That being said, have any of your characters ever been to a theatre or an auditorium before? Well, probably not definitely not one of this scale, I would imagine, but
pretty low bar. I don't think I've been to any.
I think Booga's read about grand balls and like extravagant versions of this kind of stuff, and is kind of quietly excited about what's happening here. But as much as he's experienced is probably going to like a penny theatre or something and being appalled by like what he was witnessing. That this was not the highbrow entertainment he was led to believe was out there.
Yeah, but at the same time, he got what he paid for.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, so this is so far above what you've experienced before. The entire interior of this auditorium, which goes up and up and up, you look and there's rows upon rows of circles above you, heading up into the rafters. All of the interior is extremely finely carved wood. Tough to gauge what it could be, but it could be mahogany. It looks very. It's classy as hell in here, and hundreds of seats fill the floor area that you're kind of making your way down through at this moment. Let's say, sort of looking around you, there's graduated circles above you, each of them with a lot of seats, raising kind of rows of private boxes to either side of the auditorium, all overlooking a wide, well-lit stage with an orchestra pit in front of it. There's an orchestra kind of warming up in there at the moment. They don't appear to be sort of in anything other than kind of what you would call regular sort of street clothes at the moment. This is obviously not a performance for people. This is a last-minute rehearsal before tonight's thing. And the stage itself is framed with incredibly sort of intricately carved marble kind of frontage with sort of inlaid gold patterns. And it all gives off a sort of... This is possibly the most highbrow room that Booga has ever been in, and it's quite an overwhelming sight, I would say, for all of you. Really. Just the internal scale of this building was not what you were sort of expecting, even from looking at it from the outside.
I think under his breath, Booga's just like, "Well, this is more like it."
This is where you wanted to be in life.
Oh yes.
Maybe not under these circumstances, though.
That's a step.
Yeah.
If we save the king, then whoa.
Who knows? You might be able to afford a ticket. But yeah, as I say, the orchestra is it's kind of warming up in the orchestra pit in front of the stage, and there's a a half-elf stood at the conductor's sort of podium. So, it's a little tough to see from where you are. By design, they're kind of meant to be a little bit out of sight from the general crowd, but they're not quite as sort of hunkered down as they would be during a regular performance. So there's a half-elf at the conductor station who sort of taps his baton on the podium and to bring them to a quiet, and then raises it, and he's about to bring them in when he sees Horace leading you down the aisle, and sort of he makes a face that's a little bit like a sort of "how dare you interrupt me" kind of face, as Horace is sort of gives him a look of like, "Oh, carry on," frowns back at him, and then brings in the orchestra, who start with a quite sort of bombastic piece of music. Everybody else, other than the four of you, seems fairly like unmoved by it. And as you look around, there's sort of stagehands kind of moving pieces of scenery around on the stage, moving ropes and things. So there's none of the sort of cast or dancers appear to be here. As Horace had said, he was expecting them kind of in the afternoon.
Can I notice if anyone pays any special attention to Marianne, or maybe even does a double take when they see her?
Can I get an insight check, I guess?
That is a 7 insight.
7.
So
strong 7.
Turn out strong.
Nothing seems out of place here. If anything, people are kind of ignoring her. Not specifically her, but like there's not a reaction to her at all. Potentially you could put this down to like that she is so out of where they would expect to see her. She's wearing basically pretty simple clothing, to replace the blood splattered stuff from the forest.
Yeah, she doesn't look like a diva.
She's not had hair and makeup done. She's not, and she's just hanging out in a group of randomers, in the middle of the day. But obviously Horace is showing them around. But as far as everybody's concerned, your group could be anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just she's so far out of where they would expect to see her. From what you've picked up, maybe from what she herself said and what Horace said, she's maybe known as a bit of a diva in terms of she doesn't come to rehearsals, she just shows up on the night, does her thing, it doesn't really interact with too many people, and then leaves.
I've known those.
So possibly people haven't seen her outside of being in full performance on the stage, and so wouldn't really have a frame of reference. So yeah, not a huge amount of if any reaction not that you can see, not with the 7 anyway.
So just out of curiosity, and this is a player question, not an in-game question,
Sure.
how do we know that we have the real Marianne?
Well, that's a good question as well, isn't it?
Cool.
Well, she was bloodied and injured on the road, so we've got to. I don't know. If anything, Booga's quite convinced and has no inkling of suspicion for her at all.
All right. Yeah. No. I'm not gonna bring it up until there's like an actual reason to bring it up as a character.
Yeah.
It's just something that I was thinking about as we were walking in, and like she's not being a very diva-y, and maybe she's just traumatized, but.
Yeah.
It is a fair question. She's the one you've brought with you from Colton's March. That's all you can really confirm. And as far as you know, she's the one you found in the forest. I'm not on purpose introducing more doubt here. I'm confirming.
I mean, no, that is 100% your job. That was more of a question for the crew.
Yeah. Something to think about.
Yeah, I definitely think Mirri would be like, oh, this is definitely the real Marianne, because she's with us.
Yeah, that's how you know she's the real one, because she's with
We're the heroes, so.
Clearly.
All right, metagamey stuff over. We'll sit back into character.
I don't think that was so much metagamey so much as like a sudden realization of, oh no, what if we're accidentally...
Yeah. Like, oh, by the way, we could be leading danger into this.
Yeah.
And
that's fine till it's not.
Don't actually know that she's telling the truth about anything. So, yeah, whatever.
Like, all you can do is take her at her word.
Right.
Unless you want to be constantly rolling insight checks every time she talks. Which, if you want to do that, fair enough. Like,
yeah, I'll wait until something hinky happens. Otherwise, it gets weird. So
fair enough. Okay. So where would you like to go? Who would you like to talk to? What would you like to do?
Where was Horace leading us?
Well, he's kind of just sort of led you into the main auditorium, and you're kind of hanging around in one of the aisles. He's kind of watching the orchestra for a bit. You get the feeling that he's almost using it to sort of calm his nerves a little bit. He's like, I can show you, where do you want to go? I can show you to the backstage.
I mean, like what? We're the new managers, so we'd like to see, everything. Can you give us the tour, grand tour?
Okay. This way, please. He ushers you towards the sort of side exit, kind of at the front of the stage, which it has a sign on it that says no entry, but he leads you through it, and you're into the sort of behind the scenes areas of the building. It's quite a narrow corridor, which you can sort of see immediately to your right as you enter through this door. There's a set of steps leading up more to sort of stage level. The corridor itself seems to snake away to the left, kind of almost immediately behind the paneling around the side of the kind of auditorium itself. You guess this is kind of like a quick way to get back to the kind of front of house sort of area. As soon as you're sort of in this small corridor, you notice that this is very much not the well-carved, luxury materialed, thing. This is like, we are in a fairly, nondescript kind of utilitarian corridor here that's just like, it's wood and that's it. There's no carving, there's no nothing. The floor is just like floorboards.
This is where people work.
Yeah, this is working space. There's candles on, in little braziers and that, but it's this is the backstage is not quite as glamorous as the whole presentation makes out. He sort of indicates the right, I've come up here. Head up small set of steps to sort of stage level, and you find yourself pretty much on the side of the stage itself. It's kind of a large sort of fairly large area, as huge amount of open space above you again, and you can see there are sort of rolls of backdrops kind of hung from the ceiling above. Now you can sort of see up into the rafters itself. There's kind of rolls of different backdrops kind of ready to be dropped into place. Looking around, there's all sorts of kind of scenery on rollers and wheels that can be very quickly pushed out onto the stage space itself. A lot of room here for hiding behind things and stuff like that. Everything is kind of, there's a lot of moving planes, if that makes sense. There's not a huge amount of people here at the moment. You can look out onto the stage and see that there's actually nobody on the stage at the moment, but there's a few kind of stage hands kind of doing last minute repairs to scenery and things, and kind of going through some motions, making sure everything's in place. And Horace sort of leads you through. This is my he leads you up to a human guy. This is my stage manager, Frank. Frank, you know Marianne Durand, the star of tonight's show. He sort of indicates, and Horace kind of looks at you as you're faced with Frank, who is a human man who's leaning over a desk that has got a bunch of sort of like what looks to be like notes and timings for things to happen. He's got a flat cap on and a sort of kind of dirty waistcoat. It looks like he's like a practical person. Mm-hmm. Frank sort of barely looks up. Just, look, Horace, if there's anything particular you want, you come out with it. I'm a very busy man. Horace just kind of gives you a look. Like you've kind of. Horace seems a little rattled, I will say. Just in terms of like, you've told him what you think is going on, and he is like, he's on the verge of a panic attack, sort of thing, and he immediately kind of defers to you.
Frank, it's lovely to meet you. We're Marianne's new managers.
Good to meet you. He turns over a page. He's still not looked up. He's got a pencil in his hand. He's just going through and, working on this note sheet.
Yeah. Mirri's gonna go ahead and insight this guy.
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, that's a 1.
Seems
Oh dear.
seems to be a very busy man who doesn't have time for small talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's the vibe you're getting.
Working hard, Frank, to make this opera a success.
That's the job.
All right, good man. We'll leave you to it.
He just sort of nods his head and continues. He hasn't looked up from his papers the whole time you're there.
All right.
Before we step away, and I'm sorry to interrupt you one last time, I was wondering, could I have a quick look at the papers you're working on there? I'm curious about the sequence of events in this play.
He sighs, just like a. It gives like a pointed look at Horace as if to say like, oh, really? I don't have time for this. And then, but he goes, of course. What do you want to know? He sort of turns to look at you, and he looks a little bit pissed off.
Well, if it doesn't take too much time, a quick rundown of the actual story. I won't be seeing the play itself, unfortunately, but I'm very curious.
Okay, right. Scene 1, the rise of the demon. It pops out of here, out of the hatch in the middle of the thing there. All of the chorus are in what we know as Scene 1, terrible garb, which is a bunch of tear-away clothing that we can easily washable, that we can throw fake blood on and it's no problem. They get torn apart by the demon, screaming and singing about how awful the whole thing is. The demon disappears into the woods. It's then that we get introduced to our first main character, the tragic boy whose name I can't remember right now. Now, the demon tortures him for letting it come into the world and wreak its vengeance on humanity, and forces it to be his servant. At this point as well, we're introduced to our other hero, the young king, or at least the king-to-be. This is where we go to scene 3, and he sort of starts going through all this, and it's very quickly you realise this is the story of the demon war. Or at least there's bits of it that you recognise, and there's other bits you're like, oh, I didn't know that historical thing. But then you don't know how much of it is like been embellished by whoever wrote the opera. Mm-hmm. He keeps going and goes, and this is the point where, and he looks at Marianne for the first time. Our star here comes out and sings her song of lament that she's being trapped in her father's protective clutches, and wishes to go off with the young king and help him defeat the demon, and that's her big number. And after that, and you go off, and you get from this the feeling that Marianne would have been playing the queen, or at least the woman who is now the queen, and yeah, he takes he's talking quite quickly, and he runs you through a quick 5-minute breakdown. He goes, right, now can I get back to work, please, so we don't completely screw this up this evening?
Oh, absolutely. That was very illuminating, and thank you for your time. Sorry once again.
Right, it gives Horace another look, as if to say, fuck off, Horace.
Well, Horace, before we leave the stage, I was wondering if you could take us out on it and point out where the king will be sitting.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Starting to just put together the sequence of potential events here. If the doppelganger of Marianne is the one to worry about, then the moments when she's on stage is where we should focus, and, well, her viewpoint is what I'm wondering about here.
Oh, yeah, yes, of course. Well, if you follow me. He leads you kind of out into the middle, and says, Marianne, will you be able to kindly show... sorry, what was your name, sir?
Booga.
Really?
Well, yes, and Booga kind of furrows his brow a little bit, frustrated because this tends to happen.
Oh, no, I had an uncle named Booga, that's all.
Oh. Oh, there's not many Boogas out there.
Well, no relation, I'm sure. But,
no, not likely.
Yes. Anyway, Marianne, if you would so kindly... she sort of nods. This is position 1 for my solo, and she sort of takes a sort of positioned right, kind of not quite out on the stage. Kind of has a bit in the direct center that kind of extends out towards the audience just slightly, and she's not all the way to the edge of that, but she's definitely kind of standing so that like she's suddenly like she would be the focus of attention for everybody no matter where they're sitting. And this is where I would deliver my my solo piece from. Horace steps forward. Right, if you come and say here, the king's booth is the royal booth is that one just there, and he points up to the left. And it's not the closest one, but there's quite a large one. It's been positioned so that it would have the best view kind of everything. It's sort of on the left hand side, and it's a kind of wide booth with four quite well appointed. There's curtains around it, and it can be made private if need be, but there's a set of four quite grand seats set up into it. You can even see from here. That one right there, yes, that's the royal booth. Best seat in the house.
Yes, and a plain view from the stage up there as well. Could easily fire off some kind of magic, or...
Oh, no.
Just thinking.
Yeah, it's about a sort of... From where Marianne is standing to the booth is about 40 feet.
Horace, could we go see the royal booth? I assume that we can go in when the king's not there or anything.
Yes, be careful not to disturb too much. My staff have put in a lot of they put a lot of effort into making sure it's exactly perfect for His Majesty. He sort of he looks down at your boots. I've got a. If you follow me, we can wipe the horse muck off you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not judging the court, but there's some quite lovely carpets up there, and I just don't want to have to clean them again. He looks a little bit dejected when he says that. So yeah, you're able to make sure your boots are as clean as they can be, and he leads you up to the first floor. It's still in the backstage area, but there is a kind of a small sort of access door, which he opens, and you step out into the public area, and so then you notice the access door from this side would kind of blend into the wall a little bit, so almost be like a secret door, and you find yourself in the corridor, kind of outside the row of entrances to the boxes, I should say. I keep saying booth. It's quite clear which one is the royal booth, because it is it's a little bit nicer appointed. They're all looking quite nice, sort of nice curtained doorways and that, but the royal one has a sort of extra bit of ornamentation about it. He sort of leads you to it. Well, here we are. As I said, be careful.
Oh yes, thank you, Horace. And Mira's gonna very carefully, like a cat going into a room that she doesn't know.
Just creeping in.
Just like sort of pretending like as if she doesn't want anyone to notice that she's in here.
Okay, yeah, there's very nice purple carpet in here. Set of 4 chairs facing the stage. Kind of waist high sort of barrier around most of it. But it's sort of dipped enough that, if you're sat in the chair, you're not like straining to look over the barrier. You've got a pretty uninterrupted view. There is a curtain rail running along the sort of upper edge of the box, so that the box can be closed off completely by a set of curtains. And there's a sort of small shelves on the not like a set of shelves, but like there's one shelf that's kind of like a shelf is the wrong word. It's more of like there's a kind of private drinks holder kind of built into the thing, so any refreshments that the royal party care to have a convenient place to be stored. It's very nice in here.
Could I investigate to see if there's anything that looks like it doesn't belong?
Sure. Okay. Can I get an investigation?
Yeah, I think Booga's come in afterwards and is equally looking around, so if I can assist on that.
Sure. Well, if you're assisting, I'll just give you advantage on it.
Okay. 18.
18 is pretty good. I mean, not knowing 100% what you're looking not knowing what it would be like on a regular day, you can't sort of say, oh, well, that's 100% out of place. But it seems pretty much as you'd kind of expect it. There's no, weird, kind of objects stuck to the bottom of other things that clearly shouldn't be there, or stuff that's been, strategically broken or anything,
Little blocks of plastic explosive.
Yeah, nobody's wired the chair up so that if it drops below 50 miles an hour, it'll explode, or anything like that.
Keanu Reeves is not there.
No, nothing seems out of place, really, I would say. And you feel fairly confident in that.
Can I cast Detect Magic?
Sure.
So I don't think that the box is a 30-foot radius, but...
No, the box is definitely not a 30-foot radius. There is nothing that is immediately sort of standing out to you as, giving off any kind of magical aura, in the box. Any kind of magical items that you or your companions have on you do have the kind of low-level sort of glow that you would expect. I can't remember if any of you have any magical items, which is why I said it that way. I don't think any of you do, really, do you?
No, I don't think I have.
Yeah, I don't.
I have armor, magical armor, but...
Right, okay. Yeah, so you're getting
but that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, it's obvious, yeah, Mirri's armor is glowing, but, that's not a surprise to you. But, as I say, nothing else in the area seems to be giving off any kind of magical aura.
But I don't think there's any magic here, so... Should there be? What sort of security do you have here?
Well, the royal party has traditionally brought their own guards with them. The royal Cerulean Guard, I think they're called. King normally has someone stationed with him in the box and two outside the box to look after himself. It's never been a problem up to now. We've never had any incidents.
Qiric nods and continues pondering and looking around the box.
Are you looking for anything in particular, or?
No, he's just kind of evaluating. He's trying to figure out, wouldn't they take this a little more seriously if it's the king? Is this our Lincoln moment where they start locking down stuff?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, nothing jumps out at you magic-wise. I say it's very nice in here. It's very well appointed, and the chair, sort of. It's not like a full throne, but it's a kind of. These are very nice, sort of armchair style kind of seating. They've clearly put on the best of the best for the king, and as Horace said, they haven't felt the need for any additional security measures up to this point because it hasn't been needed as far as he's known.
Mirri's gonna ask him, how often does the king come see the opera?
It doesn't come to every production that we put on, but I'd say 2 or 3 times a year. On other occasions, this box is used for other members of the royal family or other high up members of the nobility and the government, and we prepare it accordingly.
Is there anyone else of note? I mean, beside the king, that's gonna be at this performance.
We were informed ahead of time the king would be having some several guests with him this evening, hence the 4 chairs set up for him in addition to to his guards. But their names were not given to us. I will say through experience that the Queen is not a fan of opera, so she's not expected tonight. As far as I'm aware, from reading the tabloids and such, both of the King's sons are in their own dukedoms over the winter holiday this year. So I don't believe there's many members of the royal family in residence right now.
Okay, thank you.
You can't read it. You can't believe everything you read in the tabloids. So.
Is the route that we took into this box the only way up here?
Oh no. The public corridor there's it's accessible from the public areas, and we also have another entranceway to this corridor that the refreshment refreshments are brought from the underground kitchens and stores. So again, like the one we took, it's very discreet.
I see. Well, that won't really work in our favour in terms of people being able to come and go discreetly. Would it be possible to block any of these off?
Well, I mean, yes, but it's going to affect our ability to get up here ourselves. But yeah, I suppose so.
I think it would be prudent to have a single route for the king to make his way up here. That way his guards can, have one route to keep an eye on.
If you say so. He seems sort of thinking of other ways. Well, we can easily close off the one from the backstage. I'll have to tell the servers to take an alternate route to get up here rather than their usual access. Yes, it should be doable, I think. Were you thinking somebody's going to attack the king in his box?
I'm trying to cover all the angles. These are the two clearest ways that I can imagine attacking it, either from the stage or entering the box itself.
Well, I've never had to imagine anyone attacking a box before.
Do you know if they'd plan to do some sort of like meet and greet after the show with the actors or the orchestra?
Oh, yeah, I hadn't even thought about that either. He's scheduled to, after the performance, meet the cast. The lead roles are normally brought up here to the corridor here, and he shakes their hands. They normally come up through the way we came up.
I guess the only other place that I want to check is Marion's dressing room.
Sure, yeah. Well, let's if you follow me. He's kind of he started making notes as you go because he's realised that I'm going to have to get this closed off and I'm going to have to get this closed off and that, and you see him sort of jotting down on a little notepad. Its scribbling is quite a little bit manic. Bear in mind, I say this is day of, and you've suddenly introduced a major element of peril and some major changes for him. But he leads the way back into the sort of backstage area, and it's a bit of a kind of warren of small rooms and corridors back here. He leads the way into a kind of a fairly not big. It's definitely not a big dressing room, but you get the feeling like as large as the main auditorium is and grand. The backstage area is a lot of small things crammed into as smaller place as they can get it. In this, to sort of maximize the amount of room in the building that is used by the auditorium itself. And but he leads you into a smallish dressing room, but based on the ones you've passed, probably the nicest and largest. And he said, "Well, here's we had everything ready for your arrival this evening, miss." And you see in here there is there was a bouquet of flowers in a vase on the desk, which are of a variety that are very hard to get this time of year. So they've clearly gone to some expense for this. I think your detect magic is still going at this point, Qiric. Just running towards the end of the time that's working, and you notice that the container that is currently holding a nicely chilled bottle of champagne appears to be glowing softly with a magical aura. There is a large mirror along one wall with a seat in front of it. There is a costume on a stand, like a kind of mannequin stand, and there is a sort of, I guess, like a kind of small sort of like a fainting couch style thing against one wall. But yeah, it's not a big room, but it's like clearly like they've made an effort for a star to come. Again,
not really knowing anything specific or what is supposed to be here or whatever. I'm going to roll investigation just to see if I can see that there's anything that obviously should not be here.
Sure, yeah.
And once again, I think Booga equally is just going into the room and just picking up things and looking around.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful for that advantage. I got a 17.
17. Again, not really anything looking out of place here. Again, like you say, you don't know what it's like normally, but like nothing like strikes you as like, oh, there's something weird about that or anything. It just looks like what you would imagine a dressing room to look like that has been, they've made an effort to welcome someone to. It doesn't look like anyone really has been in here. Like there's no like bags have been put down or anything like that. And that sort of jives with what Horace had said in that like they weren't expecting, and they haven't seen her at all. They weren't expecting her till this evening.
Is the costume in the room?
Yes, it's on a sort of, kind of like a mannequin stand, with no arms, you know.
Okay. Can I take a closer look at that and kind of pat it down and check to see if there might be anything concealed on it?
Sure, yeah. Get an investigation check from you.
And can I help with this one?
Sure. So yeah, roll with advantage.
18 and a 4.
18.
So 18.
Yeah, so 18. So the costume itself is kind of... It's sort of like a bit of an adventuring outfit, really, although it's styled in... I mean, the three of you as adventurers would know this isn't a very practical outfit. This is very much a fictionalized version of a adventuring outfit. Like the neckline is a little too low.
Big bustier.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Definitely wouldn't be that practical in combat. It's a little bit of a sort of frilly kind of dress bit of it that would hang down over the sort of the trousers bit, which again, not particularly practical. You give it a kind of pat down. It's just fabric. There doesn't appear to be any kind of hidden sort of things in it, as far as you can tell.
Okay.
There's like a prop bow as well. But you sort of suspect as you think, oh, well, that's a weapon. But as you pick it up, it's quite clearly like this is not going to shoot anything anywhere. This is a piece of string attached to a bit of wood that might look all right from the distance of the crowd, but clearly is like that has no draw on it at all. That's not an actual working bow. Mm-hmm. It's very much a prop.
Booga's going to gesture to it and ask Marianne, what purpose does this serve during the play? I'm very concerned that you'd be wielding some kind of weapon and that this could be swapped out quite easily.
Well, I am playing I'm playing the Queen, Queen Erin. But before she was the Queen, she I don't know if you know the story, but her and the King they ran off, joined the fight against the demons, and was there when the archdemon was they defeated him. So I guess this is meant to be the bow that she used during that time.
I see. Turning to Horace, is there a prop master, somebody that handles things? I feel like this should be under control.
You okay. You want to get this locked away? Is that what you're?
Well, not so much that, but more kept an eye on until the show, so that it's handed directly to the performer before they enter the stage, so that there can be no foul play with the prop itself.
Oh, we can do that. I mean, but it's locked in here. I didn't say, but he did unlock. He had to unlock the dressing room to get in.
Have we decided whether Marianne is actually going to go through with the... Well, Marianne is definitely going to go through with the performance, right? We're not going to wait for the
I mean, this is up to you.
Well, it's the question of what happens if Marianne's there and then the doppelganger turns up.
Yeah.
Because presumably they're going to arrive before the play starts, and if we're here at that point, then that could head everything off before there's any potential problem, if we're lucky.
So, would you like to hang around the opera house to wait until before the performance? Or, to wait until the performance? Or do you guys think we should go do something else? I'm kind of at a loss right now. Not gonna lie.
Back in character, I'll just say, yes, I think we should hang around, as you say. If we all stake out different entrances and exits, we'll see the comings and goings, and if there's anybody, well, in particular the doppelganger, we'll get the drop on them.
Yes. Okay. That sounds good. Horace, how many entrances and exits are there to the theater?
We came in through the public one, but we at the back we have the freight entrance and a separate door for the cast.
Oh, there is a stage door. I couldn't find it.
It's on the back of the building.
Okay.
He leads you to a sort of a slightly wider area at the back of the backstage, and there is a kind of larger sort of, if it was modern day I would say rolling shutter, but it's just like a larger kind of pair of double doors that can be opened for big bits of equipment and things like that. Right. But to their side there is a just a regular sized door that is for the cast, and
okay.
you sort of stick your head out, and it opens out into there's a small kind of open yard at the back with a fence around it, so this is sort of vaguely private. But there are gates that open out onto not an alleyway, but like a kind of narrow sort of access thing between the buildings here and the buildings that are on the back of them, if that makes sense.
And I'm assuming the stage door was not locked.
It wasn't locked, no, but I mean, this is the day of performance day,
so you have to leave it open.
Yeah.
The three of us could stay here at the stage door, and Horace could watch the front door, or vice versa. What do you guys think?
Well, if Marianne is happy to return to a dressing room and wait this out, I think that would be the safest option for her. We can lock you in if that's okay.
Yes, if you think so.
And yes, we'll wait for performance time on that front. Maybe we can, as I say, stop things before they happen. But yes, otherwise, yes, let's keep an eye on the exit in particular. Well, not the exit, but you know what I mean, the stage door.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see Marianne back to her dressing room.
Mm-hmm.
Does Horace have a way to get a hold of us if something happens at the front of the house?
I can send one of the ushers to come get you.
Okay. So, like, if another Marianne shows up.
Okay, I'll let you know. I'll get someone to let you know straight away.
Good. Yeah. Okay. We'll be back here at the stage door, and we'll just keep an eye on things.
Right. Okay. I have to. Look, I'm going to be honest. This is all very stressful. I need to have a drink. I'll be in my office.
Yes.
I'm good.
Well, don't worry too much, and we've got this all under control. It's all gonna be good, and nothing's gonna happen to the untoward tonight. We're gonna get everything squared away.
I'm glad to hear it. I guess make a persuasion check just to see how reassuring you are, I guess.
Mirri just doesn't want him to worry.
Yeah.
I rolled a 25.
25. Okay, yeah. He looks visibly like.
I'm a paladin.
Yeah.
I'm a charisma caster.
Yeah. No, you gave him the full don't worry, we got this under control.
Mm-hmm.
And he believed you.
Handled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he does still sort of stump off towards his office, potentially to get a drink to steady his nerves.
Mm-hmm.
Leaving the three of you, I guess, just at the back door of the opera house.
Booga's going to turn to Qiric. Well, I suppose as long as she's in that room, I mean, that is Marianne, right? It would be quite the ruse to have been so injured on the road.
Oh yeah, that's definitely Marianne. That's definitely the right one.
Oh, I wonder now, but yes, let's keep an eye out for this doppelganger. He's trying to pull himself together as he's saying this.
I get these feelings about people, and they are exactly right. They're totally what happens.
Every time?
Every single time. Like, it felt good about you guys.
Yeah, so now we're trying to save the king.
Yeah. I'm going to say that Mirri would totally, since Mirri 100% believes that Marianne is, blameless and stuff, she would be like, no, it's fine. I'm gonna stay here.
I mean, let's just say between all of, the walking around and the tour and everything, that was an hour or so, but it's still kind of before lunchtime. You've got time if you wanted to just be like, hey, real quick, Marianne, what's the deal with it? You've got time.
Mm-hmm.
You've got time to go buy Booga a coat if you really want to as well.
I think we've done enough shopping for now.
Is there a place to sit inside, or are we going to be sitting outside? Because actually, sitting outside would be kind of funny.
You can sit outside if you want, but I mean, there's totally.
Oh, I think Booga would be highly resistant to this. Just the environment that they're in is too nice to give up. As much as we're in the kind of little bit of the backstage, he's still like, nah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you can sit inside the door if you want.
I think it'll be prudent to go and have a word with Marianne and at least press her a little bit, because she might play the fool. We'll have to see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, before we go any further then, let me just kind of recap the thinking here. So, before we, this isn't to discount any, thoughts or suspicions you might have. I just wanted to lay it all out. So, up until this point, you've been pretty, open to, listening to what Marianne said, and pretty, you've kind of believed her along the way. And she's not giving you any reason to, disbelieve her at all. But kind of with the random brainwave of well, what if we have the wrong one, but no actual hard evidence? Are you looking to kind of go in and sort of interrogate her? Is that, I don't know. Is that the long and short of it?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm not trying to discourage you from doing anything. I just want to lay it all out like that.
Oh
yeah.
Well, she's locked in the room, so that's, if nothing else, surely she won't be getting out of there anytime soon.
You've locked her in a comfortable room with a bottle of champagne and an afternoon to kill. What could happen?
Yeah, if it turns out that she's perfectly fine, then she'll have just had a nice afternoon and won't know anything about these suspicions. We'll keep that completely quiet.
If it was me, I'd have a nap. I'm just saying. If I was her, and you're okay, stay here for the duration with this comfortable sofa and booze. And
could we set up watches, we're sleeping for the night?
What, just to keep an eye on?
And the rest of us just nap.
Oh, what, during the afternoon?
All the way through until, I assume the performance is going to be in the evening, so we have a while.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to have a cat nap or something, there's time. You really did come here first thing in the morning,
Yeah, I think we could have a little time-lapse montage of us just whiling the afternoon away.
Yeah. Okay, so not confronting Marianne then.
Yeah, we'll sit on that for now.
I think Qiric would go and sit outside of her dressing room, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I think Booga's going to spend a lot of the afternoon kind of idly wandering around the theatre itself and just taking it all in.
Okay. Just
and thinking if anybody's got any news, they'll come and get me.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you'll see something along the way. Who knows?
Yeah, it's reconnaissance.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Excuse at least.
I'm gonna hang out near the stage door and just see if, because at any time during the day, actors could filter in, so. It's performance day, so anybody could show up at any time.
Yeah, I mean, Horace had said he's expecting the people in the chorus to arrive kind of early afternoon for sort of warm-ups and some rehearsal.
Okay.
And the same with some of the dancers as well, kind of similar sort of thing, the larger groups, the non-leading roles or whatever, he's expecting them earlier because he thinks, they're going to be going over stuff. The stars get a little bit more leeway, to the point of you get the feeling he almost is expecting Marianne's, if nothing was weird was going on, he was expecting Marianne to essentially turn up last minute, put on the costume, walk onto the stage, perform, and then go wherever she wants. He's not, not quite as compact as that, but you know what I mean. The stars get a bit more leeway, sort of thing. So you're kind of expecting people from the chorus and the dancers to arrive in the next couple of hours.
Yeah. I will hang out backstage and probably, what was I doing before? I think I was playing with the stick. So
yeah,
we'll do that.
Okay. Well, we'll sort of, I guess, like you say, we can have a little bit of a montage of the afternoon then. So, Qiric, you kind of post up outside Marianne's room. I guess, can I get a perception check from you?
Yes. That's a 22.
22. Okay.
Nice.
She's not making, there's not a lot of noise being made. She's not she's not just bouncing around, punching the walls and things. Sorry, I don't know why that was my go-to for noise, but
she's become some frat boy named Kyle because of one chilled bottle of champagne.
Yeah, she's just like, oh, sweet. She set
Time
up,
to rage.
She set up like a beer
fuck
pong
is
table
up,
in there,
Kyle?
but it's like champagne pong.
Wow, fancy.
Yeah, that's how we do it in the Valliné Opera House. It's champagne pong.
Solo cups for this lady. Goblets.
Gold encrusted goblets. No, it's pretty quiet from there. You do hear sort of at one point sort of sounds of like, you think it almost sounds like sobbing, and you wonder, you kind of, this is the first time she's kind of been left alone with her thoughts during this whole thing, because pretty much from the beginning it was like either she was unconscious or like with you guys or asleep, and then it goes quiet for a bit. Are you like putting your ear up against like the doorway? Are you sort of properly listening in, or is this just kind of, yeah, what's the...
I think when she's just kind of ambling around, he's pretty content to just sit there, but the second it sounds like she's maybe sobbing a little bit, then he'll listen a little closer.
Yeah, okay.
But he's not like grabbing a cup off of a passing tray and sticking it up to the door.
One of those gold encrusted goblets that was on its way to another champagne pong table.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, okay, so you know, it goes quiet after a little while, and you can sort of hear, I don't know, slightly heavier sounds of breathing. You guess maybe she's fallen asleep on the couch. That, because there's no sounds of moving around, and that after that it's just sort of, you hear an occasional snore, I think, because as much as I said I would totally take a nap, it actually that does kind of make sense to do.
What else are you gonna do?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Like, you know. So yeah, it's sort of, yeah, you don't really have any idea really of like what's going on in there, other than like at one point she was upset and then she was asleep, sort of thing. But there's no signs of anybody else trying to get into it or anything, as far as you can tell. You don't hear any of like saying like, "Good, these fools are dancing to my tune, and then my master plan will be complete."
She's not quietly monologuing in her dressing room.
Oh my god, Qiric, you hear the villain monologue.
Yeah, you're the only one who thought to stand by and hear. You were in earshot of the villain monologue.
I'm not an idiot. Don't call me that. You're so mean.
No, yeah, there's no signs of any monologuing, villain or otherwise.
Okay.
Actually, I think actually, as the afternoon wears on a little bit, you do hear her sort of wake up. There is a little bit of a sound of rustling, and you think maybe it's the sound that you would hear, because you got, what did you get, 22, 23? I'll give you this without another roll. Mm-hmm. You think maybe she's trying the costume on.
Oh, well, he's definitely not going to interrupt on that. You do your thing.
And then there's sort of sounds of like, you think she's maybe doing vocal warm-ups at one point.
Do they sound like a singer's vocal warm-ups, or like they sound like someone attempting?
What's Qiric's like musical knowledge like? Is he is he on a scale of like tone deaf to like would know this, I guess?
I think he probably would have been really overwhelmed hearing the orchestra just come in bombastically in the actual theater area.
Yeah.
But he's like heard music before, and I think he's got pan flutes or something with him. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I'll give you that for free then. It is it does sort of, yeah, this sounds like a singer warming up. Like, not like full on, like, right, belting it out, getting properly into it, but like a feeling of like, well, I might be singing later, I'll just do some low level exercises kind of thing.
Yeah. Totally fair. So it's not necessarily an Ursula stealing Ariel's voice situation, but it's not that.
Impossible to tell at this point, but
yeah, who knows?
Yeah. He's not out of tune, I'll say.
Perfect.
Yeah. Booga, I guess, can I get a perception check from you as you're kind of wandering around?
Okay.
You're kind of keeping an eye out.
I am also picturing Booga's montage music as the Pink Panther theme.
And kind of ideally in that circumstance, I got a critical fail.
Critical fail? It's real nice in here. It's nice and warm. you sort of drink in the atmosphere, and you know, time seems to while away. You listen to the orchestra sort of practicing for a while. After a couple of hours, they are joined by the members of the chorus, the choir, sort of filter in to one side. dancers start going, and before you know, like, time has passed, and you're like, huh. Well, this was a pleasant afternoon, if not for the knowledge of impending potential events. But nothing out of place.
Doom.
Yeah, I think he'll have spent time moving around each one of the chairs trying to figure out the best view. If he ever gets to come back, he's trying to figure out where he'll sit.
Yeah. Do you head back to Mirri at a certain point, or are you...
Yeah, I think periodically. Every now and again, just wandering back.
Yeah.
Like, this is a couple of hours, so, like, as much as there's music and things to kind of be distracted by, he'd still end up just kind of, like, just to kill time, getting up, wandering about, going in, checking on both of them, in fairness.
Yeah. I think after you notice the dancers and chorus have sort of joined the orchestra, you think that's maybe a good time to head back to the stage door. Mirri, where you've been kind of hanging out, you've kind of... I think... Actually, you know what? Can I get an insight check from you?
Ooh, I got a nat 1.
Nat 1. Okay, so...
Send your dice to jail.
Yeah. There's been some low rolls today, but also some high ones. What a roller coaster. Yeah, at a certain point, the members of the sort of chorus start to arrive, and the insight... You don't get a bad vibe off of any of them. Some of them kind of look a little bit like... Sort of, surprised isn't the right word, but a little bit curious as to kind of what a random armoured tabaxi is doing, kind of hanging out at the door, checking them out as they come in. But nobody really says anything. They're all kind of in a little bit of a hurry to get to where they're going. And like I say, you don't really get a bad vibe off of any of them. Another group of what looks to be dancers enter soon after. You see some of them sort of limbering up as they're walking in through the yard, and again, no bad vibes off of any of them. And shortly after that, you were joined by Booga.
Everybody seems to be on the up and up so far. It seemed good.
No sign of this doppelganger, then?
No, no Marianne.
Well, I've had a pleasant enough afternoon. Brace us. Could be any moment now.
Mm-hmm.
A carriage pulls up as you're having this conversation, and from it steps possibly the largest woman either of you have seen in terms of sort of height and I guess just build and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Human, as far as you can tell, who is wearing a fur coat and a matching sort of fur kind of hat, attended by a very small moustached gentleman who is carrying a bag for her, and she's sort of haughtily walks up to the back door where the two of you are kind of standing.
Do I recognize either of them?
Guess make a perception check.
That is a 6.
You don't recognize either of them.
Is there any heraldry on the cart that they pulled up in?
Can I get a perception check?
9.
There is. There appears to be a sort of a crest, almost in the shape of like a sort of star, with the letters VPC over it. The driver does not wait.
Okay.
As she walks up, she sort of... Are you blocking her way? What are you doing?
No, I think Booga's certainly trying to keep out of the way of the people that are doing their work and coming in and out.
Okay. She sort of looks down her nose at you as you pass her through. Looks like they'll hire anybody these days.
Oh, we're just some extra security.
Here to keep the riffraff out.
Could say
exactly.
that.
Well, make sure they stay away from my dressing room.
And what is your name so that I can be sure they do?
I'm Hildegard. Quite offended you don't know that already, to be perfectly honest, but if you're new...
As you can see, I'm not very cultured.
Clearly.
Yes, we've had little chance to attend the theatre, much as I would like to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, make sure I'm not disturbed before the performance.
Of course, ma'am.
She turns and heads not in the direction of where Marianne's dressing room is, but off to the other side, which, Booga, on your wanderings, you would know there are other dressing rooms that way.
Mm-hmm.
Did we happen to see a cast list, or did Frank, the stage manager, happen to tell us about a cast list?
You didn't ask, but I guess we can kind of retcon it that, like, maybe when Frank was going through it with Booga, he was sort of dropping character, rather than saying character names all the time, he was maybe saying cast names. And you do remember the name Hildegard there as playing a slightly objectionable member of the nobility in the script.
Okay.
But she definitely had she has one of the final sung parts.
All right.
Her attendant looks long-suffering, and he sort of gives you a sort of pleading look of like, please don't rock the boat, as he follows her silently.
As she goes off, Booga just turns to Mirri and goes, "Oh, she's delightful."
I'm really glad that we're here and we don't have to be there. And I gesture towards her.
Yes. Do we have more of that talk?
Another carriage pulls up. From this, a dwarf jumps down. He's got a quite well-tailored cloak on around him, of sort of black velvet. He doesn't have the traditional big bushy dwarven beard that you've seen on a lot of them, including Horace. He has a sort of quite well-manicured moustache and no full beard. He does have sort of mutton chops, but again, they've been kind of slicked down a little bit, and his hair has been swept back in a quite, I don't know, fashionable sort of look, as far as you can tell. And he's got a very different manner as he kind of heads up to the door. Hello, welcome. It is I, Antonio.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance, Antonio. I'm Booga.
Booga. And who is this? And he offers it. He takes your hand, Mirri, pulls it down because you're not a huge amount taller than him, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
What do I say? But he kisses you on the hand.
Oh, I'm Mirri. Thank you. Pleasure to make your acquaintance, sir.
Good. Always good to see new people about the opera house.
Mirri's just gonna say, Horace just hired some more security, you know.
Oh, good. Well, be sure to keep my adoring fan base, treat them well, and I accept roses of all kinds.
Duly noted.
And he again heads off towards the dressing rooms. You remember the name Antonio, who is playing a dwarven companion of the young king and young king-to-be and queen-to-be.
Okay.
A little time later, it's not another carriage, but a young-ish. You put him again, sort of early 20s, young man, quite well dressed, walks up to the stage door. There is a small group of screaming young ladies following him. He's sort of got a kind of winning smile on his face, and he kind of gives you a look as good security. Sorry, ladies, but I'll see you after the show. He kind of flashes this winning smile towards this group of young women, one of which swoons onto the gravel of the yard, and he turns around to the pair of you, who he's clocked as like, oh, there's security here for a change. That's good. He gives you a sort of like, let's go, shall we? Kind of look, and steps in between the two of you.
Oh, yes, sir. We're new hires. Could we have your name, please?
My name? Oh, yeah. I'm Corey.
Of the Hames or the?
It's pronounced Heim, but
Oh.
yeah, I'm playing Prince Ajic.
Oh, of course, sir.
Radical. Okay.
Good chat. Hey, gun fingers.
Yeah, he
walks
does. Yeah,
backwards
finger guns. He
too,
goes,
so-
yeah. Yes. You guys are doing a great job. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And he kind of gives you like a.
He's like,
He
do you
bite-
like
kind
my
of-
bowl cut?
Yeah, he kind of bites his lower lip in a Justin Bieberish sort of way and strikes a pose, and then turns and heads to his dressing room, which is in the direction of Marianne's.
I turn to Booga. I don't know whether I prefer him or Hildegard.
Well, I thought he was a charming young man. Far more affable than Hildegard, that's for sure.
So, does Qiric ever rejoin us, or is he gonna stay? Are you gonna stay near Marian's dressing room?
I think he's probably going to stay near the dressing room until people start, like, ushering everyone around and they're, like, looking for Marianne to join on stage.
Okay.
Okay. Then I'm gonna just like elbow Booga and be like, Booga, it's nearing, it's close to the time that maybe Marianne was supposed to show up, so we might see some action soon.
Yes, I'm trying to think of how many more names I was throwing around while he was explaining. How many more due to come in?
Not many, if any. So, as the winter sun begins to dip below the horizon once more, the lights of the city have begun to be lit all around you as you kind of look out of this rear entrance to the Opera House. So not quite as dark as out in the countryside, but another winter's night is closing in, and you can't help but feel the time of the doppelganger's approach may be almost nigh, and with it, whatever plot has been set in motion. The stage is set. Alright, that's going to do it for this episode. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time on Thursday the 14th of March for the next part of this story, and we hope you'll all join us for that. In the meantime, you can head to pretendingwithdice.com for links to all of our online presences, including our social media pages, our Discord server, our merch store, Ko-Fi page, and much, much more. So yeah, for now, that's our show. We hope you all enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.